to the Kamado Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Coley. We are the brother-sister anime duo. Not in a love you like a brother-sister kind of way, but as in a go ask our mom, she's the same person.
This show is an anime lover's safe haven catered toward the average anime lover, free from spoilers.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Netflix adaptation live-action One Piece, as well as a little bit of the animated version of One Piece, but we won't be talking any past the time skip era.
Fair enough. So there's your spoiler warning. Not much of a spoiler. It's not even time skip, so...
Yeah. It's been out a while, but hey, I'm just now starting One Piece, so...
Yeah. Okay. So let's just dive into it then. So as far as characters go, what do you think about the looks of them? Who looks the coolest so far? We're discussing episode 1 and 2 only so far, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So far.
Episode 1 and 2 only.
Of the live action. So I think that Zoro turned out really cool. I think he just looks really cool. His whole look is really sick. Like, it doesn't look like he's wearing a cheap wig. Like, it's actually like green hair. And I think they did a really good job with the actor choice for that guy.
Absolutely. And I think, is it episode 1 or 2 when he puts the... Oh, he does it in both episodes, actually. Puts the bandana on, and that's when you know he's about to get serious.
Oh yeah.
He did 3 sword style in the second episode, right? Did he do it at all in the first episode?
I don't think so. I think he just stuck with the 2 swords because he basically decapitated the guy in the first episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the anime, he could totally do that with 3 swords, but I do know from a practical standpoint, having that actor carry around 3 swords, I suspect we're not going to see that very often, seeing him use all 3 swords at the same time. I was watching an interview with that actor, and he said they actually made the sword to fit his mouth.
I was wondering how they did that because I was thinking, man, this guy's jaw has got to be so sore.
I think he said it was, but even with all that they did, so. Anyway, that's still cool that. So yeah, would I go with Zoro as well? I think I probably would go with Zoro. I also really liked Shanks, but what did I comment on? Because we watched at the same time. Was it his beard, I think?
Yeah, you said his goatee.
Like, I wish that were also red. But I just love Shanks in general.
It is dark in the anime too. At least is it? Pre-time skip, it's dark.
Oh, okay. It must be then. Okay, maybe my memory is just off on that then. Okay, so yeah, that's similar here. That's who I'd go with. So, well, which character do you think is the most goofy looking then?
That's a tough call. I know some of Captain Buggy's guys look pretty goofy, his henchmen, but I mean, they're supposed to look goofy, so I guess overall I think they're doing a pretty good job. I wouldn't have any major complaints of who looks bad. I wouldn't say anybody necessarily looks bad, would you?
I don't think so either, and it's tough because it's a live adaptation of an anime. And One Piece itself has just such extremely wild characters. So how close do you get things to the character? How close do you get things to a goofy character? And then just the adaptation in general. Because sometimes I think trying to do it like a 1-to-1 exactly spot on doesn't always look well in a live action. So I think what they did is perfect with them. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I think overall everything they've been doing, it's been handled very cleverly. So like Nami looks really good. I'm eager to see how some of the other characters are going to look out. Golly, why am I spacing on his name?
Probably
Usopp.
Sanji or Usopp. Yeah, and then the Fishmen. I've seen stuff where they bring in the Fishmen.
Yeah, I wonder how Arlong's gonna look like with the nose. Like all the guys with the big crazy noses. I feel like that's going to be pretty challenging. I mean, Chopper. What are they going to do about Chopper?
Yeah, I don't know. Is Chopper in season 1 or is that next season?
They don't get to him until
Oh, he comes a lot later, doesn't he?
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot later.
So.
Yeah, I'm curious what I don't even know how far they go at the anime in this season 1.
Because they don't get him until they get to the Grand Line.
Okay.
So
Gosh,
it might take a while for them to get there.
That's been so long since I've seen that arc in that snowy land, whatever that it's called.
Yeah, that was a cute arc.
Well, what do you think about the actor choices? While we're talking about the looks and everything, what do you think about the actor choices and I guess looks as far as the portrayal?
Yeah, I think overall I pretty much like everyone. The only one that I'm a little iffy about is maybe Nami. Like, I think it would have
really?
been cool to see like an actual redhead be cast for her role rather than like, oh, throw a wig on a girl and like send her out or dye her hair. Like, I think it would have been cute to actually see an actual natural redhead go out there and be Nami. And her eyes in the anime are brown, so and her eyes in the live adaptation, I think they're maybe green or blue.
Are they? Okay.
But
I think the actor Emily Rudd is she blonde in real life? Or I think maybe she dyes her hair blonde. I don't even know.
okay.
Should just pull up a picture and see. But I don't know. I think I loved
I think
her
she does a good job.
portrayal. Yeah, I loved her portrayal of it. It's just spot on. She did, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, she plays a very good cat burglar.
Yeah, and her sort of attitude that when she portrays Nami and just I think matches that kind of that little sinister thing that you see in Nami in the early days. I guess really Nami's always just really witty in
Very
general.
clever. Very clever character.
What about Luffy? What do you think of him?
I think Luffy's pretty cool. I'm glad that they actually got like kind of a darker complected character because in the anime he's a darker complected character. So it's kind of cool to see that they're really sticking to kind of the same looks as what was in the anime.
The actor, and I forget his name, but one of the interviews, and he said this, so it's not just he said he's I think he's Hispanic. I think he said he's Mexican, but yeah. So it was really neat how they have different representations. Really, if you think about when you're sailing from place to place in One Piece, you would have different peoples from all over, which I think is really neat how they portray that.
Yeah, it's not just a bunch of like white characters. Like there's a lot of variety, which is great because they are all over the globe. So that's pretty cool. But so
go ahead.
So what do you think of Buggy? That's the one that really shocked me when I saw him come onto screen.
Yeah. We're probably going to agree on this, but I think it kind of reminded me of some of the cinematic Jokers that we've seen, whether it be Suicide Squad or Dark Knight. Just, and I feel like you almost have to with a clown like that. But I thought the actor did a great job at that too. Pretty dark, but I think Buggy started out a little more like a serious villain, didn't he? And then eventually he became the comic relief. You've seen the earlier episodes a little more recently. What do you think?
I mean, initially when he first came on, he seemed like he was sort of a threat, but he always had a kind of comical tone to him, I felt.
Okay.
So it was interesting to see how they changed him up to be kind of a more sinister kind of character. I'm like, wow, he's actually kind of creepy. Like, I wouldn't really want to be crossing him on the street, but he does still capture that same essence, just it seems like it's in a much more twisted kind of manner. Like he still wants to be the center of attention and is very upset if you say anything about his nose. So I thought they played him off very, very well, but gave him a much more sinister vibe. I don't know if we're going to be seeing him as the comic relief in the live action.
I would suspect not, since he doesn't really play much of a role until Impaled Down. You maybe see a few glimpses of him, but where he's got his head, hands, and feet, which that was sort of the comic relief at the very end there, where he's kind of down into that. I think they made sure to put that in, not because it was in the anime like that, but also I think to try to sneak in a little bit of that comic relief, just a little bit of goofiness to show, okay, this is what he's reduced to now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really clever how they came up with how to defeat Buggy, because when I initially watched the anime, I'm like, man, like they can't cut this guy. How are they going to defeat him? But it's very clever that they basically put all his different body parts in different containers to basically capture him.
So any other opinions that you have on the adaptation of the Netflix with whether it be casting or the special effects? I guess in general, or maybe we just stick with the casting. Actually, I do want to say I happen to know, I looked this up. Ichiro Oda actually played a part in the selection of the cast characters.
I heard that he's been very involved with the live action, which is great.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, because then it's not going to get the like poor treatment that some of the anime adaptations have received with live actions, where it's people decide to change the plot or whatever. It still stays true to the story. But one thing that I don't think that we'll be seeing that we have seen a lot with Buggy is he seems to be in a lot of like the filler episodes. I don't think in the live action we're going to get much in the way of filler episodes.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we'll get any filler. And even so much information they have consolidated into episode 1 and 2 just to sort of these little Easter eggs, which I don't know if, I guess you probably wouldn't get that in filler. Those would be in the main episodes, I guess, wouldn't they? So maybe that's not even applicable here. What do you think about the special effects? They sell those pretty well?
Yeah, I think they did really well. The circus was really cool. The creepy circus, when they put Zorro on the wheel and they're spinning him around, throwing knives, that was pretty cool. Luffy being at the tank when he's getting filled up with water, the special effects with the monster when he's with Shanks as a kid. We'll have to see how that goes, but I think overall they've done really, really well with the special effects. Like the monster turned out really cool. It didn't look super cheesy or fake. They actually did CGI with it. It's not just some dude in a cheap costume. I think it looked pretty well.
Okay, so looking ahead, who are you looking forward the most to seeing up ahead in the live action?
So I'm torn between two. I think I'm most excited about seeing Doflamingo, just because his outfits are always so cool. He's covered in the pink feathers, just always dressed to the nines. That man always looks so cool, and he's just such a menacing character. I'm excited to see his character played out and what they're going to be doing with him.
I wonder if we'll see him at all in this first season, because he really comes much later, even like before the time skip. We don't even see much of him. It's just Battle of Marineford, right? And then that one time on that island, I can't remember what island that was. Was it before Skypiea? We first see a little bit of him.
A little bit, because one of his like henchmen gets into a fight with Luffy, and Luffy beats him up,
Okay.
and then he goes crawling back to Doflamingo.
Okay.
So then we get our first glimpse at Doflamingo, and we're like, oh, he's a cool looking guy. I can't wait to see him come onto screen more, because he definitely looks like he's gonna be a showstopper later on. Like, I'm sure he'll eventually have his own big arc down the line. I think Boa Hancock will be really cool. How she like points, and instead of like looking down at people, she looks up, and just the dramatics of her character and just how she's just fawned over by everybody. So they've got to just pick somebody super, super hot to be Boa Hancock.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe I doubt they're gonna get all the way to Robin. I don't think they do in season 1, but probably similar with her. I would think they probably have to, you know. Although, like you said, Boa Hancock, she's like supposed to be the ultimate beauty.
Yes. Yeah, total babe.
Yep. Yep.
But who do you think? Who are you most excited to see?
I'd like to see. I guess I already said I'd like to see who they select for Nico Robin, Frankie. Maybe not so much who they select, but how they're going to do Frankie. Because I mean, just as a cyborg, how they're going to do all that. So I'm kind of I'm like to see what they do with Frankie eventually.
Yeah. I wonder how much energy they'll be able to keep with him. You know, he's such a high energy character. You know, he's always dancing and doing the oh yeah,
And then they better do this pose a lot
arm
with him.
pose.
Yep.
Oh, love it. I think he's such a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
So far, they've done really well with all of their castings.
Yep. So how long do you think Netflix series will last? Do you think this will go a long time? Of course, we have the anime that's been going on for 25 or 30 years. I think 25. They just celebrated the 25th anniversary.
Man, the anime has just had at least 1,000 episodes now. Like, what episode are you on?
Well over that. I think I'm on episode 1060. Actually, I was watching it today. I can give you even an exact number. 1060 something maybe. Trying to pull up in Crunchyroll right now. What am I on even? Yeah. 1078. And I'm wrapping up Wano pretty soon.
I've got such a long ways to go. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that made me so timid to start One Piece. It's just, it's so big, and there are so many episodes that you have to watch, and the characters are just so goofy drawn. So I was just so hesitant to start One Piece. But when the live action adaptation first came out, I'm like, oh, okay, well, if it's good enough to get a live action, this is probably worth something. And so
I felt the same way. It took me a really long time to get into One Piece. You really have to have patience and give it a chance, and then eventually, yeah, you just become so attached to it. But as kind of what I was talking about on our very first episode, some of the anime that I watch was stuff that I grew up with. So, and actually, I even have Shonen Jump right here. This is volume 1, issue 1. And here you have Gold Roger. I don't know if you can see it on camera if it's in focus or not, but Gold Roger, King of the Pirates. It's a little bit different here, but I just pulled this out I remember reading this, and you can see it Luffy as a kid. So
that is so cool.
And this book is so beaten up. You can see I probably read this several times.
That's how you know you're an OG fan. Ladies and gentlemen, OG fan in the room.
Well, a couple years ago, I wonder how that ever ended. And then I was talking to someone, and then like, what? It still hasn't ended? They still haven't found One Piece? Like,
Will
Dragon
they
Ball
ever
Z,
find
like,
One Piece?
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z ended, then they did GT, of course, then Super, but Man, but yeah. So anyway,
Still the same One Piece.
yeah. Yep.
Man, that's incredible. But what do you think? How long do you think the Netflix series is going to last?
Well, if it's anything like the anime, I think they're gonna take it as long as they can. At least the main actor who plays Luffy, again, I forget his name. He said he hopes it goes for a very long time. He wants to do it as long as possible. I don't know if they necessarily need the creator Oda Sensei. I don't know if they need him. As I know, I've heard some things that his health isn't the greatest. If something happened to him, but he has the anime, but he's also very involved in the Netflix adaptation. Whether he sticks with it or not, is that necessary? Because you have the anime as the guide, but he's not involved. So, I don't know how necessary that is. I do have some numbers here that I looked up earlier, and I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget the numbers. If it's any, for whatever it's worth, there's some ratings, if that's any indication how long it may last. IMDb gives it an 8.3 out of 10.
That's awesome.
Which is good. Rotten Tomatoes, 85%.
Okay.
The Hollywood Reporter states that it delivered 1.31 billion minutes of viewing in the U.S. for the week of August 28th through September 3rd, and it premiered August 31st. I think there's only one show on Netflix that beats that, and I think that may not have been a total Netflix original. I think that came from somewhere else, and Netflix then put it on. So and I don't know if that was ever or if that was just during that time, but nevertheless, it did really well.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
So I don't know if those ratings are any indication of how long it will go. I know there's a lot of other factors, but
I think
good.
as long as they're making money on the project, why not continue One Piece? They've got a lot of material to work with. So
yeah. And you could always go back to fillers or you go back in time and do some of the backstories too. You could always expand things that way.
yeah. One thing that might cause trouble down the line is, like they can only film so fast, and they might still be on these few couple of months of the time in the plot of filming, but the actors are going to continue to age. Mm-hmm. So it's like, are we going to have this 30-year-old man playing this 17-year-old boy, or 40-year-old man playing this 19-year-old kid?
Well, there's how you address the time skip. How are you going to do the time skip? They can't, because they want to keep shooting. They can't, they gotta maybe just do a natural time skip that way.
Yeah,
So
maybe it's not a time skip. It's just, here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Frankie will just start gradually I think he'd change the most, just gradually get, even more huge. Luffy, I feel like mostly just changes his outfit, right? And then
got a big old scar across his chest.
But that happens pretty suddenly after the battle, Marineford. Nami, Robin,
grows her hair.
Robin loses her tan and gets bigger eyes.
Oh my God. Robin turned into a white girl post time skip.
Yeah. Well, she's not living on a desert now, I guess, but
that's fair. Yeah. She was in like a really, really cold climate too during the pre-time skip era. So I could see how she'd lose her tan if she spent 2 years straight in that frozen tundra.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to, I want to ask this question, or you can ask whatever. Going on to devil fruit. Would you eat a devil fruit? If so, which one?
Oh man, that's a tough question. So, like how often in my everyday life do I need to swim where I could have this power every day? And like, can I still stick my feet in like a pool? Like, can I still go swim in a pool, or is it just the ocean that you can't swim? Like, does it completely take away your ability to swim anywhere?
I think I don't think you can swim at all. I mean, I know you said the ocean will turn its back against you, and that's where you lose your ability to swim at least. But I think you can't swim at all. I think we see some, and it might just be openings, but Luffy's wearing a little floaty thing even when they're just in the pool.
Oh, that's
I think
clever.
I've seen that somewhere, but
Okay.
yeah, of course the ocean is your enemy, and they spray seawater or use sea prism stone, and that loses your powers. But I think that even just swimming in a swimming pool, I believe would also do it to you.
Okay. I think I would. Because how often am I near the ocean, and how often in my everyday life do I need to swim versus having a power that I can use every day of my life? So this might be a hot take, but I think I would want to take Bonnie's power. And she's the pink-haired girl that has, like, I'm not sure what the technical name of her devil fruit power is, but she has, like, I'll call it, for lack of better terms, the age fruit, since they all kind of have the double word for them, because you've got the gum fruit and the fire fruit. They all have the same double name. So we'll, for lack of better terms, the age fruit. So basically, like, you can look whatever age you want, and you can also do it to food too. So any food that you were looking forward to eating, and then, like, ah, man, it already expired. Not anymore. I can eat it whenever I want. I can always have the freshest produce, the freshest meat. Like, I can make that meat basically like they slaughtered it and slapped it on my plate for me. That's pretty awesome. Sushi would be awesome. I just think that would be a very convenient skill to have. And then you could also, like, open up your own dermatologist practice, and then just bring all these people in and take 20 years off their face so they look young forever.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, and I know neither of the fruit that we're picking are from episode 1 or 2 of the live action, but there's not a whole lot of devil fruit we've been exposed to in the first episode 1 or 2 of the live action, so I feel like it's fair enough to venture outside this. And we're also kind of toward the end of our time here as well. I would say Trafalgar D. Laws, I believe it is called the Nomi fruit, but and maybe this is because I get this from Naruto, but I just loved how Minato from Naruto, the yellow flash, could just teleport. She's like so fast. And I was like, that'd be such a cool power just to teleport, transport like that. And that's kind of what, like, Trafalgar's devil fruit power.
Oh, man.
And then, of course, that being said, and again, I know this is just episode 1 or 2, and this is going to be a spoiler that Kaido says, so I think this is okay to say without ruining anything. Kaido, of course, says, "You're nothing without hockey. Devil fruits are nothing without hockey. So-and-so didn't have devil fruit. So-and-so didn't have devil fruit."
Now refresh my memory. Who is Kaido?
Kaido is one of the 4 emperors of the sea. So you have Shanks. Well, at the times before the time skip, which you've seen, you have Shanks, Kaido, Big Mama, and Whitebeard.
Okay.
And of course, again, we've already established your past battle marine for, of course, Whitebeard dies at that point in time. Mm-hmm. So now you're down to 3 emperors, but they'll, fill those spots very quickly.
Man, I couldn't believe that both Ace and Whitebeard died during that time frame. Like, you were kind of expecting Whitebeard to die because, like, he was kind of on his last leg anyways. Mm-hmm. But man, Ace, I really wasn't expecting. With Whitebeard passing away, that totally changed the game for everybody. Like, just chaos broke out everywhere, and it was just a total, like, change of new generation. Out with the old, in with the new generation.
Bringing in the worst generation, as they eventually call it. Well, and speaking of the end, this is the end of today's episode of The Kamado Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Coley. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be a Kamadope. Like and subscribe to our channel for more anime fun with your favorite brother-sister anime duo.
Our new episodes come out weekly, so let us know what you'd like to talk about next, and we will see you next time on The Kamado Show.
Bye!